Remember when cartoons were dismissed as mindless entertainment with zero artistic value? Some of the world's biggest animated franchises started as the dumbest concepts imaginable, shows that executives called too stupid to succeed or commercial suicide. These weren't sophisticated storytelling masterpieces. They were silly, absurd, and seemingly designed to fail. Today, we're counting down 10 cartoons with premises so ridiculous that nobody expected them to work, yet they became global phenomena generating billions of dollars and defining childhoods across multiple generations. Ready? Let's dive into the vault of beautiful stupidity. 10. Courage the Cowardly Dog.
We interrupt this program to bring you Courage the Cowardly Dog Show, starring Courage the Cowardly Dog!
A pink dog living in the middle of nowhere with elderly farmers, constantly facing supernatural horror threats while screaming in terror. This was Cartoon Network's pitch for primetime children's programming. Creator John R. Dilworth made the original short, The Chicken from Outer Space.
I'm very proud to announce the Cardiff Animation Festival will be celebrating 25 years of Courage the Cowardly Dog
As experimental student film never intended for commercial broadcast. Cartoon Network executives initially rejected it as too scary and too weird for children, with one executive calling it nightmare fuel disguised as comedy. When they reluctantly greenlit the series in 1999, they expected quick cancellation after frightening young viewers. Instead, Courage became cult classic that ran 4 seasons and won multiple Emmy Awards. The show's brilliant contradiction, cowardly protagonist forced into heroic situations while literally shaking with fear, resonated with audiences who related to feeling inadequate yet pushing through anxiety. Courage's disturbing imagery, particularly villains like King Ramses and Freaky Fred, created genuinely unsettling moments unprecedented in children's programming. The show proved animation could blend horror and comedy successfully, influencing later series like Gravity Falls and Over the Garden Wall. Courage's global success demonstrated that children appreciated being slightly scared rather than condescended to with overly safe content, though parent groups constantly complained the show was traumatizing. 9. Ren and Stimpy. An emotionally abusive chihuahua and a profoundly stupid cat living together and experiencing grotesque body horror. Nickelodeon greenlit this as their first original cartoon in 1991, somehow believing it was appropriate for children. Creator John Kricfalusi designed Ren and Stimpy as deliberately repulsive reaction against sanitized children's programming, featuring extreme close-ups of bodily fluids, bulging eyeballs, and rotting teeth. Nickelodeon executives were horrified when they saw completed episodes, but had already committed to broadcast contracts. The show became an unexpected phenomenon, with children obsessed with its gross-out humor while parents complained to the network constantly. Ren and Stimpy revolutionized television animation by proving cartoons could be visually disgusting and narratively disturbing while achieving mainstream success. The show's extreme close-up technique, zooming into hideous detail on characters' faces, became signature style, copied by SpongeBob SquarePants and others. However, the show's production was chaotic, with Kricfalusi frequently missing deadlines and fighting network executives, eventually getting fired from his own creation. Ren and Stimpy's influence extended beyond animation into alternative comedy and gross-out humor that dominated 1990s youth culture. The show demonstrated that children had more sophisticated, darker sense of humor than networks assumed, though the behind-the-scenes creative battles revealed how difficult maintaining artistic vision could be. 8. Rocko's Modern Life. A wallaby working at comic book shop dealing with mundane modern life frustrations. Nickelodeon executives struggled to understand what was supposed to be funny about this premise. Creator Joe Murray pitched Rocko as satirical commentary on adult anxieties and consumer culture, which confused executives expecting straightforward children's adventure show. The pilot episode featured Rocko's dog humping everything, a neighbor who was phone sex operator, and corporate satire about mega corporations destroying small businesses, wildly inappropriate for Nickelodeon's target demographic. The network almost canceled it before premiere, calling it too adult and cynical for children's programming. Rocko's Modern Life ran 4 seasons and became cornerstone of Nickelodeon's 1990s golden age, praised for sneaking adult humor past network censors. The show featured surreal comedy and absurdist situations that worked on multiple levels. Children laughed at slapstick, while adults recognized sophisticated satire. Rocko's writers included future animation legends like Steven Hillenburg, SpongeBob SquarePants, and Jeff "Swampy" Marsh, Phineas and Ferb, using the show as training ground for their later successes. The series' willingness to mock consumer culture, corporate greed, and modern life's meaninglessness was unprecedented for children's programming. Rocko proved cartoons could function as social commentary while entertaining kids, influencing how animation approached balancing humor for multiple age demographics simultaneously. 7. Powerpuff Girls. 3. Kindergarten girls with superpowers fighting crime before bedtime. Cartoon Network executives initially rejected this as unmarketable to boys, who dominated action cartoon demographics. Creator Craig McCracken made the original short Woo Pass Stew, later changed to Chemical X for obvious reasons, as student project at CalArts, never expecting commercial broadcast. The premise seemed commercially suicidal: cute little girls in dresses beating up grotesque monsters, combining superhero action with cute aesthetics that traditional marketing wisdom said couldn't coexist. Cartoon Network greenlit it reluctantly in 1998, as cheap programming expected to attract only small niche audience. Instead, Powerpuff Girls became global phenomenon, generating over $1 billion in merchandise and spawning theatrical film, comics, and multiple reboots. The show revolutionized action cartoons by proving female protagonists could drive commercially successful action properties, shattering decades of toy industry assumptions. Powerpuff Girls' art style, simplified designs with bold colors, influenced entire generation of animators and demonstrated that limited animation could be visually striking rather than just cost-cutting. The show's balance of ultraviolence and kindergarten innocence created unique tonal combination never successfully replicated. Powerpuff Girls proved that girls' shows weren't limited to domestic settings and relationships, but could feature action, adventure, and world-saving heroics equally appealing to all genders. 6. ED, EDD, and EDDY. 3 idiotic kids, spending every episode trying to scam neighborhood children out of money for jawbreakers. Cartoon Network executives questioned whether this premise could sustain one season, let alone multiple. Creator Danny Antonucci pitched the show based purely on his childhood memories of trying to earn candy money through ridiculous schemes that always failed. The characters had no redeeming qualities. They were selfish, stupid, and constantly failed while deserving their failures. This anti-hero approach seemed guaranteed to alienate audiences expecting likable protagonists to root for. Cartoon Network greenlit it in 1999 with minimal expectations, considering it cheap filler content between more prestigious productions. Ed, Edd n Eddy ran for 10 years and 131 episodes, becoming Cartoon Network's longest-running original series at the time. The show's success proved that deeply flawed, unlikable protagonists could still be entertaining if their failures were creative and consequences were appropriately humiliating. Antonucci's unique animation style, hand-drawn on paper with digital coloring creating distinctive wobbling line quality, gave the show visual identity unlike anything else on television. The show's complete absence of adults, except for disembodied voices and occasional limbs, created Lord of the Flies-style children's society, governed by informal social codes. Ed, N Eddy demonstrated that cartoons didn't need fantasy elements, exotic locations, or high-concept premises to succeed, just strong character dynamics and creative slapstick execution. 5. Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Anthropomorphic fast food items, a milkshake, French fries, and meatball, living in New Jersey and occasionally fighting crime, but mostly just being horrible to each other. Adult Swim executives greenlit this as joke, literally expecting it to become example of failed experimental programming. Creators Dave Willis and Matt Maiellaro pitched it as superhero parody, but the crime-fighting premise was abandoned after the pilot episode because nobody cared about that aspect. The show became purely about fast food characters being cruel, stupid, and engaging in surreal, non-sequitur conversations with bizarre neighbors. Aqua Teen Hunger Force ran for 11 seasons and 139 episodes, despite having no consistent premise, narrative structure, or character development. The show's success proved that animation could succeed through pure absurdism, without needing coherent storytelling or sympathetic characters. Its influence extended beyond television when a guerrilla marketing campaign in Boston caused terrorism scare in 2007, with LED devices promoting the show mistaken for bombs and shutting down the city. Aqua Teen demonstrated that Adult Swim's audience valued weird, meaningless comedy over traditional narrative television, creating space for shows that rejected conventional structure entirely. The series' complete disregard for internal consistency or logic became its signature appeal. Episodes contradicted each other constantly, and nobody cared because absurdism was the point. 4. Regular show. Two slackers, a blue jay and a raccoon, working as park groundskeepers who encounter surreal supernatural events during their mundane jobs. Cartoon Network executives almost rejected it for being too weird and aimless, without clear educational value or moral lessons. Creator J.G. Quintel developed it from his student film 2 in the AM/PM, which featured the characters getting high and hallucinating, which obviously couldn't be the premise for children's programming. The reimagined version kept the slacker characters, but replaced drug references with random supernatural occurrences like demonic keyboards, sentient coffee beans, and muscle man transformations. Cartoon Network greenlit it reluctantly in 2010, expecting modest performance at best. Regular show became one of Cartoon Network's biggest hits, running 8 seasons and winning Emmy Awards for Outstanding Short-Format Animation. The show's appeal came from its realistic depiction of minimum-wage service work interrupted by absurdist fantasy, resonating with young adults stuck in dead-end jobs dreaming of more exciting lives. Regular show proved animation could portray working-class experiences authentically while incorporating surreal comedy, attracting audiences tired of fantasy adventures disconnected from economic reality. The show's 1980s nostalgia aesthetic, arcade games, rock ballads, laser tag, appealed to millennial viewers while remaining accessible to younger audiences. Regular show demonstrated that slice-of-life animation could succeed in America, despite conventional wisdom claiming audiences demanded high-concept premises and constant action. 3. Adventure Time. A boy and his magical shape-shifting dog having surreal adventures in post-apocalyptic wasteland populated by candy people, vampires, and wizards. Nickelodeon executives rejected this as incomprehensibly weird, with zero commercial potential. Creator Pendleton Ward created the original short as experimental animation for Nickelodeon's Random Cartoons Showcase, fully expecting rejection. The short's random humor, nonsensical dialogue, mathematical, and deliberately crude animation seemed designed to alienate mainstream audiences. When Nickelodeon passed, Cartoon Network picked it up as cheap experimental programming they expected would fail quickly. Adventure Time became defining animated series of 2010s, running 10 seasons and launching multimedia franchise including comics, video games, and theatrical film. The show's deceptive simplicity, appearing to be random adventures, concealed sophisticated serialized storytelling about trauma, loss, growing up, and processing difficult emotions through fantasy metaphors. Adventure Time revolutionized how children's animation approached LGBTQ+ representation, featuring television's first same-sex kiss in children's programming between Princess Bubblegum and Marceline. The show proved audiences craved serialized storytelling with ongoing character development, rather than episodic reset-button narratives. Adventure Time's success demonstrated that weird, unconventional animation could achieve mainstream popularity by trusting audience intelligence rather than dumbing down content for assumed lowest common denominator. The show influenced an entire generation of animators who saw that animation could be simultaneously silly and emotionally sophisticated. 2. SpongeBob SquarePants. An optimistic sponge living in a pineapple under the sea, working at fast food restaurant and annoying his clarinet-playing squid neighbor, Nickelodeon executives struggled to understand what was supposed to be entertaining about marine biology teacher's weird passion project. Creator Steven Hillenburg pitched it as educational marine biology show featuring anthropomorphic sea creatures, which Nickelodeon rejected as too educational and not entertaining enough. Hillenburg removed explicit educational content, but maintained marine biology accuracy in character designs and underwater environment details that most viewers never noticed. Nickelodeon greenlit it reluctantly in 1999 as cheap programming to fill gaps between established hits, scheduling premiere after Kids' Choice Awards purely because they had empty time slot. SpongeBob became Nickelodeon's most successful property ever, generating over $13 billion in merchandise revenue and becoming cultural phenomenon transcending demographics. The show's absurdist optimism, SpongeBob's relentless enthusiasm, despite constant failures and rejection, resonated with audiences of all ages seeking escapist positivity. SpongeBob's success proved that genuinely wholesome content could succeed commercially without cynicism or edge, countering industry assumption that irony was necessary for contemporary relevance. The show's visual creativity, using live-action inserts, bizarre time cards, and surreal transitions, pushed boundaries of what television animation could attempt. SpongeBob demonstrated that strong character foundations and optimistic worldview could sustain decades of storytelling, with the show still producing new episodes 25+ years after premiere. 1. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. 4 teenage turtles mutated by radioactive ooze, trained in ninjutsu by a rat sensei, living in sewers, eating pizza, and fighting evil ninja clan. This premise was created as intentional parody of grim 1980s comics. Creators Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird drew the first comic in 1984 as joke-mocking serious comics like Daredevil and Ronin, combining every ridiculous element they could imagine into deliberately absurd concept. They self-published 3,000 copies expecting the comic would disappear into obscurity as one-off gag. Instead, it became an unexpected hit, leading toy company Playmates to pursue licensing, despite multiple animation studios rejecting it as too weird and unmarketable. When Murakami Wolf Swenson finally produced 1987 animated series, they completely transformed the property, removing graphic violence, adding comedy and kid-friendly appeal, changing personalities to make turtles distinct rather than interchangeable. The show became an unprecedented phenomenon, with toys generating over $1 billion annually at peak, creating franchise worth billions across comics, films, video games, and merchandise. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles proved that absolutely ridiculous high-concept premises could achieve mainstream success through strong character differentiation and accessible storytelling. The show's cowabunga catchphrases and pizza obsession became defining elements of late 1980s/early 1990s pop culture. TMNT demonstrated that properties created as parodies could transcend their origins and become beloved franchises in their own right. The Turtles' success created blueprint for toy-driven franchises where television shows, toys, and merchandise formed synergistic commercial ecosystem still used today. So there you have it, 10 cartoons with premises so silly and concepts so absurd that studios expected them to fail immediately. Yet they became global phenomena, generating billions in revenue and defining multiple generations. The wildest part? The shows dismissed as too weird, too stupid, or unmarketable became the very properties that revolutionized animation and proved conventional wisdom about what works is usually completely wrong. Now cartoon your way to your next video. And remember, sometimes the dumbest ideas are actually the smartest ones, and the shows nobody believes in become the ones everybody loves.